Welcome to another tutorial. In this one, we're going to take a look at how to create some quick vignettes. Vignette is a type of effect that a lot of people are adding to title sequences and, pretty much just any sequence in general. To give you a rough idea of what we'll be working with, here's a quick title sequence for Peter Jackson's newest movie. So that's supposed to say double reloaded at the end. Yeah, that's not actually his newest movie. If it was, I'd start to question the movie making industry. But let's take a look at our After Effects composition. A vignette is this dark edge we have out here kind of surrounding our main composition. So if I take off this layer, you can see how the dark edges are now gone. And when I turn it back on, the dark edges are there. It takes the focus of the eye and puts it right on the middle of the page, and that's kind of why it's become so popular. It's very versatile, and there are many different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to create these vignettes, and hopefully by the end you'll have some idea of what you would like to do with it in the future. So to start, we'll stay on this example, and I'll show you what I did here, and I'll actually go ahead and delete that so we're starting from scratch. So we'll start on this frame and go ahead and go up to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer, and then go to Effects, type in Curves, drag curves down to Adjustment Layer, and go ahead and bring this out a little bit. And we're really going to pull this down and make it pretty dark, and just about to the point where you can't really see the texture that you're using in the background. And so now what we want to do is create an elliptical mask here. And so I chose the ellipse tool, and something I just learned is that you can actually, once it's selected, you can double click on the ellipse tool and it will create an ellipse for the entire composition size. And so that defeats having to start in the top left corner and drag down to the bottom right corner. So that's pretty awesome. That's a time saver right there. When you look at it now, the darker part is in the wrong spot. So what we want to do is next to mask 1, we have add, switch that to subtract. And okay, now that looks better, but it's a harsh edge, and we don't want that. So let's twirl down this mask 1 menu, and on mask feather, bring that up, and I usually like to take it up into the 200s because that gives it a nice kind of smooth effect into the mask. But if you would rather have it kind of be a bit more of a harsh one, let's go to 78, and you can see that it still rolls off, but it is a little rough. So basically that's it for this type of vignette. All you have to do is create that adjustment layer, add curves, bring it way down, then boost up the mask, an elliptical mask. So that's it. So now we're going to create a new composition, add a new layer, solid, and let's start off with, well, it doesn't really matter. So we'll start with that. In ramp, in effect in presets, type in ramp. And now you see this gradient here. Over in the ramp settings, for ramp shape, switch that to radial ramp. And now you can see that this is kind of what we were doing with the vignette. At the top of the page, you'll see this little circle with the crosshairs. Now bring that down to the center. At the bottom, you'll see one similar to that. Drag this one down and kind of out of the frame. And you can go even farther. So this is a reverse vignette of how we did the other one. And what you can do is just change the start color. I'm going to make it a nice red. And then the end color, I'm going to make it a darker red. And actually, let's go ahead and take that first red up more. So this is a way that, kind of like in the intro video I have, if you just have a solid color background, you can give that a vignette and give it a nice smooth look without having to add texture or make anything too complicated. And so this, again, is a ramp, which I got from the effects and presets under generate. And just move these crosshairs around to wherever you want pretty much. If you want the vignette to be left heavy, then move it all the way to the right, and if you want it to be right heavy, move it all the way to the left. I like to keep mine in the center, and then I can add whatever text I want. Wow, vignettes. So now we'll go ahead and create our final vignette. And to do this, I'm going to take the ramp off of my pale gray solid and go to layer, new solid, and we'll make this one black. Hit OK. And kind of like we did in the first one, I'm going to create an elliptical mask and subtract it. Another thing you can do instead of subtract is you can invert it, which basically does the same thing. Once you get down to intersect, lighten, darken, and difference, that's going to change things, but inverted is basically the same thing as going to subtract. So if it's on subtract and inverted, then it's what it originally looked like. I'll just stick with subtract for now. And now I can twirl this down, and we'll feather our mask. And you see here, you're getting really dark edges of that black. And what you can do is just boost up the mask expansion. So you're still getting some dark corners down here. And again, you can adjust this by hitting scale or S, and then boosting up the scale. And then we'll go back down to our mask feather, and actually the mask expansion, since we boosted that way up. So now we can bring that down. And now we have another vignette. Content goes in the middle, and the eye goes directly there. So that gives you a quick look at how to make vignettes on your videos and compositions. Again, it's After Effects, so there are many different ways to do all of these things. Choose the one that you like the best and you think is the easiest to do, and start adding vignettes to your videos. Be sure to check out some of my other tutorials like the Kinetic Typography series and also the Quick Wiggle Effect tutorial to check out some sweet purple socks. If you have ideas for other tutorials, send them my way, comment below, and I will try to get those up as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and now for me, it's back to the Shire.